Good evening, everybody. What an absolutely inspiring film experience. My name is Anita Lee. I'm the Chief of Programming here at TIFF. Please welcome back to the stage, Director William Goldenberg.
Thank you, thank you. I'd like to introduce some of the cast, if that's okay. And first, I'd like to introduce Jharrel Jerome. And next, Bobby Cannavale. And please welcome Don Cheadle. And Jennifer Lopez.
And I have the pleasure to introduce, because it was a pleasure and an honor to not only meet, but to portray a woman who poured her heart, her soul, and her blood, literally, into her children, teaching them that nothing is more important than family. Against all odds and obstacles, she rose, leading by example to show her children that they too could be unstoppable. Ladies and gentlemen, Judy Robles! I always forget stuff.
Oh, okay, thank you. I now have the privilege, the honor to introduce my son, Anthony Robles.
I can just feel the buzz in the air. It was really wonderful just to hear such a warm response to the film. I saw the film by myself in a screening room, and after the film, I wanted to stand up and cheer all by myself. So I know how you're all feeling this moment. My first question is for William. You're a critically acclaimed editor, many of those films that have in fact played here at TIFF. What about this project made you decide this would be your directorial debut?
Well, it really comes down to my instincts, actually. I was looking for a few years to try and direct something, and when they brought me the project, it just something, lit up in me. And then going to Arizona, like I said earlier, and meeting Anthony and Judy, and seeing what kind of person he was, I just felt like something inside of me said, this is the story I need to tell. And obviously, I made the right choice.
Yeah, absolutely, I think so. So many wonderful films that you've edited, and I think this is such an impressive debut, and I think all the audience here would agree this evening. Yes.
Thank you.
Jharrel, if you could speak to the physical scenes in the film were some of the most exciting and dramatic that I've seen. How did you prepare for the role physically? Was there movement training involved? Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yes. A whole lot, yeah. Funny, for about 5 months, I almost was like doing a 9 to 5, where my 9 to 11 was in the gym, 11 to 1 was on the mat with Anthony and his coach, 1 to 3 was movement training, and 3 to 5 was vocal training because the Southwest dialect. So it was one of those things where it was like almost a Tour de France sort of prep sort of thing, Not to brag or anything, but yeah, it was a lot.
you also speak to, this isn't your first time portraying a real person. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like to work so closely with Anthony?
The pressure was real. You know, as an actor, it is one of the most daunting tasks to portray somebody real, the pressure that follows, the justice that's needed to be done. So having him there at first was pretty terrifying, if I'm being honest with you, bro. But just after a while, you see that Anthony's sitting there on set also kind of like a sponge, soaking everything in and learning. And so I think we just leaned on each other the whole time. And every time I looked at him, I'm like, how was that? He's like, yeah, go. I'm like, all right, we good.
I do want to say that Jharrel did portray another real person and won the Emmy for it, and When They See Us. And if you haven't seen it, please see us. He's amazing in it. Please see it.
So I'm only going to get roles where they're real-life people. I don't want anything else. Just, that's it.
Well, we were really impressed with your performance, and I'll just mention that the Tribute Award for Performance is also, we're presenting at the gala at the festival to Jharrel, so congratulations. Yeah. Jennifer, this question is for you. What resonated with you the most about the character of Judy when you first read the script? And as well, once you got to know Judy, how did that impact how you portrayed her?
Well, it's funny. When I read the script, I felt like so many women, including myself, could relate to the struggles that she had gone through in her life. Yes. And the story, being a Latino story, being so inspiring, it was just something that kind of grabbed me, and I was like, okay, this is really, really interesting. But then when I met Judy, we met over Zoom, and I was like, I really need to talk to this person. You know, thank God they're alive, because I've played real-life people, too. I've played Selena and Poochie, and I wasn't able to speak to them, obviously, and so this was a different kind of experience. And just talking to her, I realized, like, we were just almost the same person in a weird way, even though we were so different, and we had such different lives. That at the core and the heart of who we were, at first we were moms, and beyond that, we had similar struggles. And, you know, I think it was my job really to help her feel safe. I think both of them, Anthony and Judy, to feel safe and kind of put this in our hands and trust us with all the information that they could give us, and know that we wouldn't misuse it in any way, but only use it to tell their story in the best and most beautiful way that it deserved, because it is one of the most beautiful, most inspiring stories I think I've ever seen on screen.
I really felt you just vanished into the role, and you brought such an authenticity, so it was really, really wonderful, and I can see the closeness. That was the experience. The relationship with Bobby, especially, you know, a very, very intense part of the film. Bobby, your character as Rick is a very complex character, you know, a very challenging character, but at the same time, I felt you brought such a sense of nuance to those films. Were there any scenes that particularly challenged you as an actor in this film?
Oh God, I don't know. They're just all so funny, aren't they, my scenes? It's just hard to really modulate really where to pitch the comedy in each of those. No, you know, I think any story, you know, look, I was so taken by the book. I was a mess when I read that book. I have 3 sons of my own. I think movies can be very powerful, you know. It's really hard. Like I said, there's 3 little boys I have at home, and it's hard sometimes to explain to them what perseverance means and commitment. And, you know, I wanted to be a part of this movie, you know. I wanted to be a part of telling the story, and I think it's an element of the story, right? And I think it was, you know, there were clues in the script, you know, as to what this guy was, where he was coming from. You know, there's this flashback scene where he says, you know, it's more than I ever had. you know, it's his experience going to work every day, what he must have to see every day at that jail, and the terror he must feel for his own children. Those are just the things that, for me, you know, made it, sort of humanized him for myself. But I really enjoyed being with those kids. I just enjoyed the whole process. You know, we shot all those scenes in sequence at the beginning of the shoot. So it was, I really enjoyed, I just enjoyed being with those kids. You know, I approached it in a way that was a little terrifying for me because I had to deal with these little kids. And so I remember just like talking to myself the night before the first day, going, okay, you got to tell the kids that you're not really that mean, and you got to tell the kids that you got kids of your own, and you have to like let them see you as a human being. And then of course that all went out the window because the kids are kids, you know, and they're just fucking around, and I just feel like I was dealing with my own kids. And so it was, it's just a really comfortable set, and it was not as challenging as I thought it would be because I was working with great pros, you know.
Yes. I think what was so special about the film was, you know, so many wonderful, complex characters. Don, Coach is a really, really interesting character, and his relationship evolves. In the beginning, Coach is very skeptical. What did you bring to your portrait of a coach who plays such a significant part in Anthony's journey? Did you bring something from your personal experience to that role?
I mean, I think there's always some of you that, you know, I think our job as actors is we're trying to find that bridge, you know, where you and your character meet, where you're the same, but also where you're very different, and we're always trying to navigate that. I was also fortunate to talk to Coach Charles and to spend time with him, and he was around some. It was great to have Anthony there all the time and Judy there all the time. But, you know, as Jennifer was saying, we're very fortunate when we can talk to the people that really exist. It's intimidating as well, but it's great to be able to pick up those little things, those little, you know, a turn of phrase or a perspective that they have that isn't in the script, and maybe it's something that doesn't even really show up in some predominant way on screen, but it's something that you tuck away and that you use and becomes a little talisman, something that you hold. There's just different ways, I think, that these techniques that we use to try to find who these people are. But really, it's when you're on the set, and I never got to see Jennifer on set, never got to see Bobby really, but I was locked in with Jharrel every day, and that was a real privilege to meet somebody that, you know, has kind of just started his journey, but is already so dedicated and so committed and really has his whole thing in the right place. So, yeah.
I think the dynamic of all of the relationships were so very powerful in the film, and I think it really brought the emotional aspects to the film, you know, beyond it being a very exciting sports drama as well. Of course, the big question for Anthony, how does it feel to have your journey portrayed on screen in such a huge way?
You know, it's still hitting me tonight. The emotion, it's coming in waves, and to see this amazing group of people here tell my story in such a way that I can be proud of. And that was my biggest fear, was having my story being told to the world and not knowing how that was going to be told, not knowing if there was something that I'd be looking back on years from now with my son, Abel, who's going to be growing up, who's going to see this, and, you know, what message is this going to share with the world? And I'm so proud. You know, I couldn't be any happier tonight, and it's just that message of being unstoppable, so truly blessed.
Your achievement is absolutely inspirational, so you should be so very, very proud. Yes. And Judy, for you as well, seeing your life and your relationship with Anthony on big screen portrait, how has this experience been for you? How has it been for the two of you and your whole family?
I know Anthony and I have had several conversations about it, and being vulnerable in front of so many people who were making the film, and in front of all these amazing actors, to, you know, open ourselves up to our lives. It's been messy. I made a lot of mistakes, And I am here that I owned up to my mistakes that I've made in life, but I am proud of the fact that I've raised a son that has grown up to inspire so many people and that has accepted the challenges that life has given him. When I think back to this little girl who held this boy, when I was 16 years old, and I had no idea how much he would change my life. But then to see him grow up, be the man that he is, and to go through the experiences that he has, and just to fight through every situation, and for everyone to capture it perfectly, like you were me. You were me with the sass, but also with the sadness and the pain, and I felt that. And Jharrel, my gosh, those facial expressions, I couldn't believe it. Bobby, you scared me, in a good way.
But in a funny way, right?
Yeah, in a funny way. And Don, for you to take on like you did and to capture the spirit of ASU, I love that. And for Sean Charles, but Billy, for you to take this on and to give it so much respect and dignity. That means a lot. All of you did that, and I thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
When Judy came out onto the stage, she hugged me and she said, "Is this real?" I said, "It's real. We're here. You did this. You guys did this."
As a mother of a 20-year-old son, it really impacted me at a very deep level, so thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
And William, any final words you would like to share?
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone up here with me. You made it so easy on me to make this film, all the actors and Anthony and Judy. I just can't thank you enough for trusting me. I mean, it was an awesome responsibility, and I couldn't be more pleased that you're satisfied with the result, and thank you.
Thank you, Billy. It was great to work with you.
So, unstoppable, people. And the film is eligible to vote for the People's Choice Award. Thank you to the cast of Unstoppable.